Indonesia.
That's his 50th Premier Class start, Lewis. What a way to celebrate. He'd scored 9 points in the last 10 races. So in that Grand Prix, he scored more points in 20 laps than what he scored in the last 11 races. That just kind of shows you the journey that Miguel Oliveira's been on. Mid-season last year, when we were around, Mugello, Barcelona, Assen, we thought he was going to be a title contender, and then his form just completely disappeared. But I think it's fair to say he's back.
And what a journey KTM have been on as well. We touched on this in Qatar, how difficult their pre-season was looking at the first test in Sepang, but they certainly found a direction at the Mandalika test. Their season, in many ways, whatever KTM go on to achieve in 2022, they can certainly say that this circuit, this Pertamina Mandalika circuit, has played a key role in their fortunes in 2022. They found a direction at the test, and they leave the first ever Grand Prix around this circuit as constructors and teams championship leaders, with both of their riders within the top 4 and within 5 points of the Riders' Championship lead.
Well, I was going to say, we've had sun, sea, sand and speed here today, but sadly we've been lacking the sun. But we'll take it. We finally did get the MotoGP battle we were all hoping for. It was worth the wait, as we mentioned pre-race, over 8,900 days since our last Premier Class action here in Indonesia. And the podium celebration are about to get underway. Oliveira, Quartararo and Zarco are coming to the podium here in Mandalika.
Please welcome to the podium. Winning construction.
So KTM then, certainly in business, aren't they, at the start of the 2022 season? Second in Qatar, and a victory here, as Francesco Guidotti pointed out to Simon downstairs. Joan Zarco then ending his podium drought. Fabio Quartararo, quite possibly the happiest man on the podium this afternoon. A real breakthrough for him in full wet conditions to take second place. But Miguel Oliveira, he was the master of Mandalika this afternoon, dominating the race. For the moment he got past Jack Miller at the front of this Grand Prix, there was no catching him. A 4th career victory for him in MotoGP. Of course, they've all come in very different circumstances. The last lap, last corner overtake that took him to his first Grand Prix victory, the dominance of Portimao, the victory against the odds in some respects in Barcelona last year, and the victory, a real dominant wet weather victory here, as the President of the Republic of Indonesia, Joko Widodo, passes over the trophies to our top 3. Joan Zarco, our 3rd place man, Fabio Quartararo in 2nd place. That's for the first time Fabio Quartararo has met him. He wasn't at the parade on Wednesday. Quartararo, one of the sweetest trophies and the most precious 20 points he's perhaps picked up in his career. But Miguel Oliveira then, he is your race winner. The President hands over the trophy. It took us 25 years, but it was certainly worth the wait, and magnificent Miguel mastered the wet conditions in Mandalika this afternoon.
So our first visit to Indonesia ends in joy and triumph for the factory KTM team. It's the race win and his 50th MotoGP start for 27-year-old Portuguese rider Miguel Oliveira. 16th career win, 4th in the MotoGP World Championship. His first podium since the Sachsenring. Feels like a long, long wait, doesn't it? Last summer in Germany. Those three men there on your picture had to work really, really hard, didn't they, for their money and their points today. Tricky conditions. We saw big scares of Pekka Bagnaia, Paul Espargaro. Jorge Martin crashed out and went well placed. Stunning ride by Darren Binder to take a 10th place. The next GP, of course, where we move from Southeast Asia to South America, and a welcome return to Termas de Rio Hondo, a South America, North America doubleheader coming up. Our first trip to Argentina.